So we're going to try and see if we can find him. I didn't see any tracks on Mvubu. What's that in the road in front of us? There he is. Yes, yes. Leopard. It looks like Tlalamba, not him. We drove right past her. She was obviously in the drainage line, but just turned around. You see, sometimes it's all about inches. I don't know if it is her. It's certainly a female. Might even be Tundi, but let's have a look quickly. Hey, yay, a leopard. First thing in the morning. And I told Emma this morning, I'm going to find a leopard at Weirtiller Dam. And I'm going to sit with it this morning. And was I right, Emma? Yes, I was right. But Singana's tracks are also here at Tlalamba. I should have put money today. But it looks like Tlalamba to take us into the most horrible block. Yes, Tlalamba, you were being sneaky, but we caught you. Just by turning around because of Singana's tracks. But, oh, it's good to see her. You've been giving us the runaround, little girl. You've been all over the place. Awesome. She's gotten big. I, for a second, thought it might have been Tundi just by her size, but she looks really good. She's going to take us into a horrible place. Maybe she'll even take us to Tingana and we'll get a daughter-father reunion. But I am indeed. It's been so nice to spend time with them, and in particular, this little cat. I've been wanting to see her so much. She's obviously got a special place in my heart, just purely because I was very fortunate enough to be the first person to ever see this leopard in the world. And so we saw her when she was a tiny little baby in the den with her mom, and have watched her grow from that tiny cub to this self-sufficient leopard that's about to embark in the next phase of her life, where she's going to start going into motherhood now and have little ones of her own. It's going to be really cool to see her go from there. But it just goes to show you how leopards and finding leopards is such a matter of chance and a matter of inches. That cat was in the Mulawati behind the dam wall. Now, there's no ways driving on the road you're going to spot her from up there because of how thick the bush is. And had we not turned around, she would have walked behind us over the road and into this area, and you wouldn't have found her. Tracking now would have been very difficult to spot her. Also, finding tracks in this grass is not easy at all at the moment. But it just goes to show how, like I say, it's just matters of inches and timing out here. So much of what we do is luck-based. And I think that's the best part about it, is that you know that you need elements of luck in order to find what you're looking for. And a bit of perseverance and a bit of effort, eventually the luck will break in your favor. So we've had kind of 2 weeks of really tricky leopard viewing where we've struggled to find leopards. And, you know, Dave broke the kind of rut with Hukamuri, and since then we've really kind of come right again, which is nice. I'm so hoping that her dad is somewhere here as well. I'm hoping Tingana is in this area with her. Yeah, so with our leopard, this is our last view we're going to have of her. Oh no, camera, behave yourself. Put my camera next to me and it's sitting on the button. So I'll have to go through a whole bunch of door pictures. Lovely. So anyway, like I say, she's going to cross into an area now where it's just not going to be feasible to follow her. There's no way to get a car in here. I have tried endless amounts of times to follow cats through this section. It's just not possible where she is going right now. She's too far north, unfortunately. But at least she stopped for us to get one last view, and it's so pretty with her curled little white tail up, and especially when she looks over her shoulder and there's that little bit of light that just catches her eyes. The area that we're in this is a fire break that's been mowed. That's why it looks so short. Are you going to sit still for us? Oh, you lovely cat. What are you watching down there? And whatever it is, we must be thankful that there is something that's piqued her interest, because it allows us to have this incredible view of her out in the open, looking ever so pretty. It's amazing, though, how quickly we lose her. Just now we were following her and we lost her, and I was saying to Alex, I'm sure she's going to be on the road. We must just get to the road rather than worrying about it. She gets busy and then she starts to trot, and especially if she spots things, then she can be hard to keep up with. And luckily she stopped on this little section. Lorimer, it's a good way to actually describe her. She does always look like a pointer. She's almost stops and kind of has her nose forward as if to say, I've found what I'm looking for. So she is very much that way inclined. So it's a good way to describe her. Maybe we should have called her Pointer and not Tlalamba, although I like Tlalamba. It's a nice name, but difficult for a lot of people to say. It's quite funny to see when people say it for the first time. When they see the spelling, it just kind of throws them off completely. So at one point somebody was calling her Tlalamba, which was making James highly irritated, because James obviously speaks the African languages, and he knows the way that things should be pronounced, and he would get very upset when people used to call her Tlalamba. It was very funny to watch him. Actually, at one point, I think we started doing it just to irritate him a little bit. In our camp, nothing can go unpunished in terms of playing the fool with each other. If something starts to irritate you, you can be sure that the crew will pick it up and start to do it just as a bit of a joke. Oh, but she is pretty. Tlalamba, you've grown into a fine little leopardess, you know that. Thinking about that little cub when she was this little sort of innocent bundle of fluff, to now where she's got this incredibly beautiful coat, and she's a lethal little hunter, this cat. A lot of our kills of recent times have been thanks to her. She seems to be really good with catching fairly decent size impalas, as well as things like duiker. She goes after them quite a lot. She favors those. Now, where she is at the moment, just talking about food, is a really good place for her to be, because this little open section often attracts quite a number of impalas and quite a number of duikers. They like to come and they eat off the shorter grass, and they know it's much easier to see predators. But the thing is that it's a great place for her because she's got thickets on either side, so she can use those thickets to worm her way along and then be able to hunt those various antelopes. And we know that she's had kills on this road multiple times. We've seen her in that big jackalberry with an impala kill last year. She was in probably one of the most incredible sightings I've had, or days that I've had, in this particular section. Not far from where we are right now was where Thandi killed, I can't even remember what it was. Was it impala? I think it was an impala. And then Tingana stole it, and Hosana was also there, and we had that interaction between Thandi and Hosana where Hosana kind of put his foot down for the very first time and chased Thandi back. And then they moved off, and Thandi killed another impala. And then we had that interaction between Thandi, Tlalamba, the hyenas, Hosana, and Tingana. It was a pretty ridiculous sighting, that one. And that one actually became quite popular because it was on a TV show of all times. It was ridiculous. I mean, obviously the Thandi and Tlalamba part, not so much, but the Hosana Tingana part was kind of part of our TV show, which was very, very cool. So this little place here has got lots of a place of leopard fortune in many respects, but also of leopard pain, because you can't follow them very easily at all. Anyway, Louis D. Line, you say Tlalamba frame is worth 1,000 spots. It is. She's so pretty, and especially in a place like this. I mean, how often do we get Tlalamba walking out in the open like she is now, just kind of strutting her stuff along with her little tail up and beautiful golden morning light? It really is special to have her like this. She's normally a bit of a hooligan in thickets, and so to have her just kind of with the confidence to walk right out in the open is really very, very special. Now, it would have made it quite difficult if you had come here and you hadn't seen her and tracked her, because she's been walking so much on this sort of mowed green area. You wouldn't actually know where she had gone. You would have thought she'd cut off, but just goes to show why you need to check up and down the road a little bit just to make sure they don't come back on. But there's that tail up again. Very cool. Unfortunately, I can't move from here because I'm going to lose signal if I come down from this little mound quickly, and she's about to go over the boundary. She's approaching the fire break now, so she's literally a few meters away. Where you see those trees at the end of the road, that's the Buffelshoek boundary, and where she's heading, I suppose I should actually let the guys in Buffelshoek know that she's about to cross over to their side. It's probably a good thing to do, since they always help us out so much. Shal. Don't know if any of you guys are interested, but Tlalamba's about to cross into Buffelshoek. She's on Gari Cut Line, just mobile straight north at the moment. But isn't that pretty?